Actually, life here in the Mathare slum is very difficult when it comes to young people living within the slum. One of the reasons there is poverty, and because of poverty, you find that young people have engaged themselves in very bad activities. For instance, you find that most of the young people are very drug addicts, whereby they use a lot of drugs so that they can forget about the situation that is happening within the Mathare slum. Some of them have been stealing, and then as a result, you found that they get killed by the police or maybe get mobbed by the members of the community. The place where we are right now, it used to have a very huge garbage, but because actually the kids didn't have a field to play on, members in the community actually organized a cleanup, and actually they got rid of the garbages. And now you can see at least the kids can be found somewhere they can play football and have fun.
Like you see, if they don't have a ball itself, they have a ball made of peppers. If you move around, you'll find that kids are playing around with a ball made of peppers. And they play around. When they get tired, they go back to their house. Those are small kids.
Go back to class and sit down in class. Emily, don't allow those kids to come out. Get them in class first.
Sometimes our parents cannot afford money to buy balls, and they are more expensive. Now we always make this one so that we can play. When you play this ball, it's better to play this one so that you can know how to play well.
Okay, the work I've been doing for the afternoon was actually a good work, and it's something that I've been doing for some time, not only today. And it's the work of using balls made by Alive and Kicking Kenya as a means of reaching the people with the HIV messages and malaria messages. For the time that I've worked with the sports to be able to spread these messages, I've come to know the goodness of sport in such a thing. First of all, sport is something that is able to gather people together, even those who are not participating, including enemies. I have been able to watch a football match that has been organized to be able to campaign against AIDS and malaria. And even very strong enemy schools came together and they participated. The reason is that they would want also to be able to show themselves who is stronger than the other in sports. So we found that sports is able to bring the people together, and then we can be able to play, and we pass our messages on to the people.
This is on behalf of your team. This is for them to play in. They are going to play in that right now. Give them a hand. And this is for the goalkeeper.
There are so many young people who just hang around. They lack something to do, and as a result of that, they end up involving themselves in some very, very stupid things. So when we get them to play, they have something to occupy their time so they don't involve themselves in doing some other things.
You'll find them taking drugs, smoking, now watching funny videos, which they pay 5 shillings. Unlike in football, if they come to watch football, they'll spend a lot of time in football. They will get tired. They'll go to the house and eat and rest. But how about those who are 15 years? Now you see they will now indulge into sexual relationship at a young age, and you see that now will have to grow up into HIV/AIDS.
For you to play safe, my fellow youth, if you have to do it,
then use a condom, okay? Let's be fair. AIDS is real. Watu wanakufa. Tuchangamke na tuchill, sindio?
We do believe that actually ignorance is something that is really fueling the spread of HIV/AIDS, because up to now there are so many people who do believe that there is nothing like HIV/AIDS. They believe it is there, but they don't believe it is a disease. They believe it's something like a curse. Some of them, they have a name, they have given it from their tribes. Like some people do call it as a curse that comes to the people who have actually disobeyed the elderly or who have pulled out of their culture and their traditions. So this is one of the main thing that is causing so many people to continue catching the disease without knowing.
For you to progress, for us to live a proper life, a life without AIDS, HIV, we must be faithful to each other.
Looking at the cultural values that the communities were based on, it was even really hard to talk openly about HIV and AIDS, and most youths only depended on their peers for information. And most peers didn't have the accurate information about HIV and AIDS, and they only shared information that were based on myths and attitudes towards sex and sexuality.
Ikiwa ni kati ya Goodwill Learner Center na St. Justino High School. Kwa hivyo mlio nje pale tafadhali muwashangilie wachezaji wenu. Alive and Kicking tayari imetoa uniform.
Some people do believe that they have their own ways of curing HIV/AIDS. Like there's something that so many people believe, and this actually has endangered the lives of the young kids. They do say that you can cure HIV/AIDS by having sex with a virgin. So they are not sure who the virgins are, but they are sure that the young kids have not had sex with anybody.
Before the match kicks off, the message must be passed around. The pamphlets are there for everybody. Each house has got a message about HIV and malaria. So at least when you go to each person's house, there is a message being passed around. Okay. Who has won? How do you want? Talk kwanzia wapi? Talk kwanza hivi. Tuanza ball, okay? You're playing 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Huh?
Through games, we are not only passing on the health messages and getting rid of boredom, we are actually helping even so many people who had some dreams of becoming celebrities in sport.
When it comes to footballs, not all teams have good footballs. You'll find that one team can only have one ball for the whole year, and that ball cannot be playable.
56% of Kenyans are living below poverty line, which means that they don't have an equivalent of $1 in each day.
Because we have other leather football in Nike, Adidas, which are much expensive, 5,000, 6,000. But we normally go for the lower prices. That's what customers like. Leather football, like Mikasa, goes for 2,690. And the synthetic ones, since I told you synthetic doesn't last longer, that's how much cheaper. We have those from 1,500 to 2,300.
In 1994, there's this young boy called Adrian. He was a former street kid and orphan. And he had a very good sense of humor and was very charming. And a lot of people wanted to identify with him because he was really succeeding and being a street kid and having the courage, the skills, and the talent in playing football. Everybody could just become a center of focus. And suddenly this young boy died at his teenage. And it was very sad for many people. And that's when people decided to think, what might have killed him? And by then, when we're looking at the fight against HIV and AIDS, it's still low. And even in Kenya by itself, it had not been declared a national disaster.
10 years ago, it was road accident, but today HIV/AIDS or HIV/AIDS-related illnesses is the #1 killer, and one cannot further emphasize and amplify this problem. It's huge. It is here. It's here to stay with us, and all that can be done to address it by all of us is the only thing we can ask for.
Well, HIV/AIDS in Maungu is quite alarming because here most of the women are commercial sex workers. In fact, during the statistics, it shows that we are second in all the villages in Kenya after Busia. Well, this area is a highway, and most of the heavy commercial vehicles are stopping here during the night. Therefore, most of the women here now, they go after these drivers, and this driver is having a girl here, another girl at Busia, another girl in Mombasa. Therefore, with this, they spread AIDS quite a lot. We don't have role models, and our girls, the only role models they have around this place is the commercial sex workers.
We started organizing some games, small games and friendly matches just for the girls to come and play in the afternoons, because in the morning girls were expected to do home duties and take care of their babies. But challenging enough, in the afternoon after they finished their house chores, they expected to stay at home and take care of their younger siblings. And we came up with a tent system whereby when the girls came to play, they could be able to take their kids and play in a safe place or in a safe area whereby somebody could look after them. Having over 250 girls team participating, it shows that sports can be able to bring together different genders to participate and to have a common vision of winning on and off the field. It's a really, really transforming stage whereby I look at it as a change of shifts and paradigm, whereby now girls feel that they are confident enough to do what the boys can do best.
The match today was very good because it was for the first time in Maungu for people to see girls football. Usually there were no girls football. In fact, even in today's team, there was a girl who belongs to Somali, who are Muslims, and their parents told her not to play football. But then the girl, during halftime, she was interested and she went in and played. I have so many orphans in this school who their parents have passed away through AIDS. In fact, even today, there's still a corpse which is going to be buried tomorrow, and this parent died due to AIDS.
As we are talking, we have about 1.2 million Kenyans who are living with HIV and AIDS, and that has resulted into approximately 2.3 million orphans. And recent studies conducted by the National AIDS Control Council, together with certain stakeholders, has shown that out of these 2.3 million orphans, only 15.6% of them, approximately 260,000, are cared for by homes and NGOs. That leaves a big proportion, something close to 84% of orphans living within communities. And that is a real challenge for us.
Since the youth were not allowed to talk openly about sex, what if you used music and drama and puppetry? And it became a very powerful tool because the members of the community sometimes spend most of their time idling. And when they hear drum throbbing, they will always come to see what's happening. Or when they see somebody trying to dramatize an issue, they could come and watch it. And this gave us an opportunity and a platform to share with the members of the community, especially after matches or before matches.
Today, in fact, we were supposed to be performing in a school, but the headmistress cancelled us at the last minute for some ministry activities. So this was actually a guerrilla performance. We wanted to perform, and this is an area called Haruma, and we wanted to actually come and do a performance here for a while. So we just drove in and found this space and set up, and we managed to pull in a very good crowd. If you could really, if you can make people laugh, if you can move people and touch them, you will impact more on prejudice and discrimination than any other way that I can imagine. And it's having that many of the community together at one time, they've all had the same experience. They're all able to go home and then discuss what the issues that have been raised on the day. How many people in Europe are open about their HIV status? It's a sexually transmitted disease, and it carries stigma, I think, anywhere in the world, but it does seem to be particularly bad here.
You know what I came to learn? Sports by itself is a natural draw to volunteerism and to philanthropy. And looking at the way sports present itself and breaking the cultural barriers, breaking the cultural norms that people have known for many years, for us it presents a perfect platform for discussion. Because when you're looking at the natural draw to volunteerism, trying to imagine the number of people who have just been drawn to participate in sport. And it's very cheap. You just have one ball and you have 22 people running after it. And having 22 people running after it, reading the message in it, and even volunteering the time to come, share, and even talk to the other people, for me, it's a powerful tool.
Football passes messages. With football, you can reach so many people. Look at World Cup. Football is the most sporting event in the world. There's still a lot of things to do in life, despite the problem that they're facing. So we normally try to encourage them to do positive things in life, such as involve themselves in sports activities, play football, you see? Because once they take football, it can be like a career for them in life, and maybe they can play a professional football in life.
We have about 1.2 million Kenyans who are living with HIV and AIDS, and close to 94% of Kenyans are infection-free, and we'd really like to do everything possible to ensure that this 94% actually remain infection-free.